I've always been interested with the subject of lost media, from a hoax of A Day with SpongeBob to the mysterious Pink Morning cartoon. So here are some cases that I feel are pretty interesting. To start things off, we have Incarnation by Chavez. Incarnation by Chavez is a Filipino flower shop in Manila that sometime in the 1990s produced a commercial that aired locally in that area. The commercial is notorious for having unintentionally scared viewers. In the commercial, we see a bouquet of roses in front of a dark background with a camera zooming in. The song Shepherd Moons by Enya starts playing. Several other scenes with a voiceover saying, "When you care enough to send the best," and "Say it with flowers" from Incarnation by Chavez. The ad continues in this fashion, ending with the same voiceover saying, "When the occasion becomes special, you can make it more special with flowers," from Incarnation by Chavez. Incarnation by Chavez, when you want to show how much you really care. There appears to be actually two versions of this commercial, a long version and a 15-second version, that aired in either 1993 or 1994. It has also been claimed by some people that the lady in the commercial was played by Sita Astalis, but this has never been confirmed. The search for Incarnation by Chavez only recently began, starting in 2022, but traces and mentions of this commercial date back to April of 2000 from this website. As mentioned before, the search really began in earnest in 2022, but 5 years prior, in 2017, Jamanuel Cordeo made a reproduction which garnered attention. Incarnation by Chavez remains lost to this day. Hitogata is allegedly a commercial airing sometime in the 1990s or early 2000s. The accounts vary, but generally people believe it was either a PSA shown in Japanese schools or a commercial that aired late in the evening. The consensus is that the commercial consists of a railroad crossing sign playing in the background as two white humanoid figures without any features appear on screen. When one figure fades out, the other fades in. Text is displayed on screen that reads something like, "Every 2 seconds, someone dies on Earth." Accounts differ on what the text actually says, or if it was text at all and instead a narration. The first mention of Hitogata was in 2004 on 2chan. It was posted anonymously on a thread that was about creepy commercials and advertisements that the person found memorable. This is the original post. When the original post was made, nobody could nail down a specific timeline or era to narrow down the search, but it has been since determined that the commercial likely aired sometime between 1996 and 2003. One post from 1999 reads, "There's this commercial with two monochrome people blinking on and off alternatively, going pawn pawn." Among local PSA commercials, there's many I can't make sense of. There have been many recreations of Hitogata, one of the more famous of which was made by Hitogata. As of 2024, Hitogata not only remains lost, but some people can't even confirm if it even exists. It seems like this piece of lost media is the most talked about and the most well known, at least in my research. Super Smash Bros. Slamfest 99 was a live stream hosted by Nintendo on April 24, 1999 at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas to promote their new and upcoming game Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 64. The entire live stream was about 2 hours long, and roughly half an hour in, there was a 17-minute fight between certain characters that would appear in the game. This is what we know about how the fight went, thanks to an article published the same day. The live stream was all but forgotten until 15 years later in 2014, when the search for this live stream began. Since then, numerous pictures, articles, and contacts have been found and tracked down, including several people from the now defunct Media on Demand, who was the company who live streamed the event, and several former journalists who covered the event. But as of 2024, Super Smash Bros. Slamfest 99 remains lost, most likely due to the fact that live streaming and the internet in general was in its infancy in 1999. Neither the live stream nor an amateur recording has surfaced. This piece of lost media has been dubbed the Subway Perfection ad. It was a local subway ad seen around the southern Pennsylvania area in the mid-1990s that, unlike their usual advertisements, was particularly low quality, using amateur actors, poor production, and cheap effects. It was because of these facts that it was believed that it was an unofficial ad that wasn't meant to promote the national franchise, but instead was meant to advertise local stores. The internet became aware of the ad in February 2019 when an artist who goes by the name of Baron von Brunk created a video where he recreated the commercial using Lego stop motion, which gained attention and kicked off the search for the missing commercial. According to Baron, he recalled seeing the commercial as a teenager and remembered making a running joke about it with his friends. It didn't take long for the search to conclude, because just under 2 years after Baron made his recreation, on January 28, 2021, Instagram user Video Savant uploaded the full commercial with this description. This video went unnoticed until April 25, 2021, when it was brought to Baron's attention, and he confirmed that it was in fact the lost commercial he was looking for. Despite Baron not seeing this commercial for 20 years, his reenactment had very few mistakes, such as his reenactment having a black background with a mountain setting, but other than these minor discrepancies, the speaking voice, the bald man, and even most of the dialogue were quite accurate. The Carb Solutions commercial, mostly known as the Demon Lady commercials, were a series of commercials for the weight loss supplement Carb Solutions, and premiered in the early 2000s. Some of the key details that people agreed upon were that the commercial aired in several areas, including Quebec, New York, Texas, Ohio, and perhaps even Finland. The commercial was said to air before 9/11, with some claiming they saw it back as early as the late 1990s. It supposedly aired on Comedy Central. When the search first began, nobody could recall the name of the product that was being advertised in the commercial. Some of the phrases that were known to be said in the commercial were, "What's wrong with pigs on a blanket?" and "Come on, try the snack mix." The search had a major breakthrough on April 26, 2021, when people discovered that one of the ads had been uploaded to YouTube in 2011, in a compilation of ads. The ad that was found was the bridal shower commercial. It wouldn't be until over a year later, on June 5, 2022, when the second commercial was uploaded to YouTube in a commercial compilation. This piece of lost media appears to be lesser known than the others in this video, but I think it is one of the more interesting searches. Everybody knows that, or Ulterior Motives, is an unknown song, and even the names are just guesses as to what the real name of the song is. It began on October 6, 2021, when a user named Car192 posted on this website to see if anybody knew this song. The clip was posted to YouTube with this image, and has since become the associated image that goes with the song. There have been many theories on what the lyrics might be. Over the course of the search, there have been many theories on the origins of the song, the most prominent of which is called the TV theory, and that the song is from an unused saline car commercial. This has since been debunked, but the overall theory about the song being from television is still the most popular theory. The TV theory is still popular because people have noticed a 15.734 kHz pilot tone that was used for television in the 1980s. It's ironic for a piece of lost media to have a name like Everybody Knows That, when as of early 2024, all we have are theories and a 17-second clip to go off of. This entry in the video is not just one piece of lost media, but hundreds if not thousands. The silent film era, which lasted from about 1895 to 1927, is notorious in the lost media community as a subject that includes a vast amount of lost media. It has been speculated that around 70% of all silent films produced are considered partially or completely lost. This is due to many factors, including several fires like the 1937 Fox Vault Fire and the 1965 MGM Vault Fire. These fires were likely started because, as these films age and deteriorate, the films, which were made of silver nitrate, can sometimes spontaneously combust. Another reason for the lack of silent films is due to the fact that once a film had played in theaters, companies didn't really have a reason to keep the film since there were no TVs and virtually no market for the films that had been already screened. So, to save money, companies would destroy the movie and reuse the film. For example, this is Theda Bara. She was one of the most popular silent film actresses of her time, being labeled as Hollywood's first sex symbol, producing more than 40 films between 1914 and 1926. Her most famous film was Cleopatra from 1917, but of the over 40 films she was in, only 6 remain in full, with a further 3 being mostly lost. Most of these films will never be recovered due to the age of the films and the negligence of the people who, at the time, saw no reason to keep the films. One of the most well-known lost silent films is London After Midnight, starring Lon Chaney. It was a horror movie that was produced in late 1927, and was one of Chaney's last major roles before his death in 1930. The film was 65 minutes long, and the last known copy of the film was likely destroyed after the MGM Vault Fire in 1965. Although London After Midnight is likely destroyed, there have been several attempts to reconstruct the film, with the over 200 surviving photographs and the still available full script. Sesame Street is known for its child-oriented programming and family-friendly messages, but on February 10, 1976, Sesame Street would air the infamous episode 847. The episode starred Margaret Hamilton, who, 37 years earlier, played the Wicked Witch of the West in 1939's The Wizard of Oz. In the episode, Hamilton reprised her role as the Wicked Witch, and in doing so inadvertently scared children. In the days after the episode's airing, there was a barrage of negative complaints from parents, and due to the poor reception, the episode was pulled from air. Just a year prior, in 1975, Hamilton had appeared on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood as herself, and reassured children that the Wicked Witch was just a character and didn't actually exist. Flash forward to 2019, and as Sesame Street celebrated their 50th anniversary, it was announced that all 49 seasons, containing 4,500 episodes, would be archived in the American Archive of Public Broadcasting, and that among the 4,500 episodes, episode 847 was among the collection and could be viewed at the Library of Congress. 3 years later, in June of 2022, the entire episode was leaked anonymously. This was by far the biggest found lost media of 2022. The final piece of lost media I would like to cover kind of ties back into the silent film section, as it is not one, but hundreds if not thousands of early internet pages that have since been deactivated, abandoned, or simply do not work with modern computers. With the evolution of the internet, many websites, chat boards, blogs, and online games have become forgotten and lost. Because of the sheer amount of lost content, it would be nearly impossible to track down and find all of them, but that hasn't stopped people from trying to find these remnants of a bygone era. I know that this video isn't necessarily history-based, but as I mentioned in the beginning, I have been interested in lost media for a long time. If you want to see more of this type of content, or if you want to see me make a video where I go into depth about one of the cases that I spoke about today, please let me know in the comments. I do read every single one.